Because the original vacation trips were, we would put up a trip to Hawaii for success stories to come to, originally from the Power 90 group, and it'd be like, win a trip to Hawaii, send us your before and afters, because there was really no reason for people to send us before and afters, and that's when we met Doug and Tammy Fitzgerald, Tracy Morrow and others, and Doug Couch. So that's when we would do these sort of vacations. Then, 2005-ish, we started P90X, and actually it first launched in 2005, and that was the same time that we decided that we were going to do the network. And I don't even remember telling you or describing it to you, but the company in 2005 was actually in trouble. 2004, 2005 was a really tough year, and we had to make a decision. Are we going to just take what we got, because P90X hadn't worked yet, and the company was actually in real trouble. And we looked at the prospect of selling it, we looked at the prospect of raising more money, and as I tend to do, I was like, screw it, let's start 2 new things instead. And we started a beauty business at that time, and we decided to go into the network marketing business. So from you first, and then Hip Hop Apps was 2007?
It came out in 2007.
Okay, so you were involved with the Project U, which was like 2004, okay. So what was it like for you, just to hear about us going into this network business? What did you think? Because it's got a stigma.
Well, yeah, I mean, originally we were an infomercial company, like you said, so we're making infomercials and doing pretty well, and we had Power 90, P90X. And I remember when you first brought it up, and of course that ick factor thing popped into my head. Oh no, multi-level marketing. And of course I told a lot of my friends, and there were no coaches then, but people who were really participating in the programs and learning the workout and stuff. And everybody freaked, because they just thought, oh, this is going to go to hell in a handcart. Because everybody knows most multi-level marketing companies have sort of a very intense ick factor where it's really fake and unauthentic and awful. And but at some point you and I got talking about it, and you convinced me. I understood that prior to the coaching business, if somebody was going to recommend a program, they got basically a pat in the back. Hey, thank you so much. You look great. I want to look better and feel better. But then when there was sort of a money factor there, where you get more than a pat in the back, you actually get to make some coin and help support your family and have a better lifestyle. And, finally get rid of that 1974, Gremlin. You can, really upgrade your life. Gremlin, it's Google it. Very old car. And so you said, well, who can we get? Like, you came to me. And because at that point, I was doing a lot of, my own. Tracy Morrow and I just went off and we're doing camps in Chicago and Miami and, LA and all over the country. And I just started picking friends that were doing the program. Tracy was one of them. Tracy was monitoring the message boards, and I called Tracy and I said, Carl's got this multi-level marketing Beachbody thing. I don't know what it is. And Carl wants to know if you want to do it. She goes, I'm making $25 an hour. Why would I stop this? I'm, working on the message boards. And I said, do it for 6 months, see what happens. Anyway, she's a millionaire, so that turned out good for her. Yeah, amazing. So, it was Doug Couch, it was Mark Briggs, a lot of the people, the Fitzgeralds and stuff. And that's how it started. It was just this little thing we thought we'd try. And so at that point, from your perspective, it didn't freak you out? Because I started to approach, it was in Chicago that I approached Hudgens and just sort of hinted that it was coming, Robert Hudgens, and I think Briggs was there too. So from your perspective, was it like the end of the world, like, oh? No, I just feel like for Robert Hudgens, for example, he had 3 jobs. He owed his father-in-law money, and he took every last penny that he had to come to one of my camps in Chicago. And I brought it to him as well. I said, hey, look, I trust Carl a lot. Look what we've been able to create so far. I mean, the guy is a genius. And he's done pretty well, so he's rolling the dice. You want to be part of this thing. And now he's got a big house and he's living the dream, So that was how it was initially. And so, as I see it, to kind of finish up from my perspective, is I look out and I see how many coaches are here at this event. How many? I mean, you had to earn this. 10 years ago there'd be 12 of you out there. So it's just amazing how many people have gotten this successful this fast. And we think about Summit with 25,000 people. How many were at the first Summit? First Summit, I knew everybody. Hey, I knew like all my pals, our pals were there. and now it's just gotten completely insane, you know. So actually the workout yesterday, I started doing a shout out to everybody saying, you know, the reason why this company is as big and as successful as it is isn't so much about our infomercials so much. I mean, we do okay there, but the infomercial market's changing, right? Especially now with our on-demand opportunity, which is going to be, I think, we don't think that's going to blow up to the roof. But it's really, you guys are the glue to this whole thing. You're the reason why it continues to grow, the reason why we're so successful, and the reason why so many people in this country are healthier and fitter and better off financially. And it's because of all of you, for sure.
All right, well said. So, I don't know if you know the story, but we met Sean. He was subbing for Kathy Smith for some workouts as we were developing her Project U product. And we started to see a trend, or Lara Ross, who's in our product development business, started to see a trend that the class that was full in the test group was Sean's. And so when he would sub for her, it would be like packed. And she said, you know, I think there's really something to this guy. So we took a look at him at Equinox, gave him a call, and then went ahead and sort of developed this idea for a dance-based abs program. And that was, of course, Hip Hop Abs, which was, at the time, the fastest program to ever, you know, get to a threshold that we would use was how fast can we spend $1 million a week and advertising and have it be a profitable venture. And that was like 30 days, bang, that thing rolled out. So here you are, you go from, you know, this guy training at Equinox, and you're traveling around the world doing dancing. You get involved in this. Like, I've really never thought about this from your guys' perspective. Like, it's kind of surreal. So you get involved in this, and then all of a sudden, you're on TV all the time, which it defines it like, oh, this is what it's going to be. And then we created this other product, and you say, I want to do Insanity. I'm like, you can't do Insanity, you're the dance guy. And you say, I want to do Insanity. And you audition, you do it. And I was talking to Tanya yesterday about that. And she was like, what are you talking about, this Insanity thing? He's like, just do it. So, you know, so there you are. It's going to go this direction. Then you start to hear about this thing, network marketing. What was your reaction?
Well, for me, you know, just kind of going back to Kathy Smith, for me, I entered this business just doing what I normally did. I was just a group exercise instructor. So, you know, it just didn't, I was just kind of like, okay, I'm helping people get fit, and that's what I have been doing for 10 years already. And then, you know, we did Hip Hop Abs. I still had no idea what the network was. The first, like, I think the very first real idea that I had from what the network was is we were doing an Insanity test group in New York City. And we were like in our 4th week or 3rd week of the test group, and we were, you know, like everyone was starting to get fit, and Insanity was crazy, and you know, people were throwing up in class. And then all of a sudden, this guy walks into class and he's like, hey, I'm a coach, and Carl sent me here. And I was like, who's a coach? Like, what's a coach? I was like, you've been coaching me. And so I was like, and he came in with this P90X shirt on, and I was like, so me and Tanya were like, yes. But I showed him
I told him
just wait till the end of the story first.
I set him up.
So he was like, you know, I do P90X or whatever, and I was like, all right, whatever. And I looked at Tanya, I was like, who that? So then we start working out, we do the Insanity warm-up, and this guy goes to the back of the room and sits there. And so I was like, what's wrong? And he was like, oh my God, I wasn't prepared for this. So then,
I'm looking forward to the Sean T. Tony Horton pull-up contest.
Don't worry, I got your back at the end of this one.
So that guy happened to be Jimmy Hayes Nelson, right? So, and then, so that's kind of when I actually was like, what's the coach? So then, you know, Insanity came out, you know, it was like results recovery for me, and then all this stuff. To be very honest, while, you know, the network started and we understood what coaches was, you know, and I told you this, I never felt like I was inside the coaching business. I just felt like I was motivating people who needed to sell the program. But not until, and this is very true, not until I met Danielle, Fit and Funky, and, you know, she told me her story about how she became, you know, successful in the coaching business, and then she starts, I was like, I sat her down, like, explain this to me, and I would ask her questions, I'm like, oh, now I understand, because I never really understood MLMs, like, I just didn't get it, except for, like, Avon, you know, back in the day or whatever. But then I was like, oh, and then so then I finally understood. But just to kind of let you know where I am today, you know, I come from the background of like, when you roll into the carnival, anything can happen. So I see things growing progressively, and you have to be, in my words, or from what I heard a couple weeks ago, it's like you have to be up for whatever. So for me, I just kept a hold of being in Kathy Smith's test group and helping those people lose weight, and I'm like, I'm just going to continue to do that because that's the foundation of where I came from. And I see people changing lives, being successful, changing their own lives, being successful, making money, and now going out and helping change other people's lives. And that, I mean, for me, that's really what it's about. I mean, I'm glad you make money, I'm glad I make money, but I always believe that if people believe in who you are, the longevity and relevancy of who you are will continue to take hold. So I just say, keep doing what you do, and I'm going to keep doing what I do, and keep it up.
All right. So, I don't know if you picked that up there, but what Sean just described was hashtag CEO communication fail. You know,
I didn't quite say it like that.
No, I'm just saying that's what I picked it up. You know, I gotta, one of these days I'm gonna get better at this job. But, God, it's terrible at keeping people informed. Okay, so, autumn. We had been in development of a 21-day program and looking at the concept around the 21-day program for maybe a year or so, and there was different ideas around it, and then part of the team was like, we really should do something about helping people with portion control and so on, and then I think it was Heather found on the Hallmark Channel video that you had done. It was on YouTube, and it was like everything came together. We had the type of person that we wanted. She had already developed a portion control system and had created workouts, particularly for celebrity trainers. And so we brought Autumn in. It was like, first 30 seconds, it was like, this is the person for this program. And then we had to go through the rest of the meeting because it was a long drive in, but I knew in the first 30 seconds. But now, when you join us, like, Beachbody's already a thing. And, you know, you said, you know, give me the paper, what do I sign? Why are they taking so long? What's the deal? But from your perspective, what did you see when you contemplated Beachbody? Now, you were also a trainer at Equinox, right? Okay.
Yeah, I was a trainer at Equinox. So I knew Beachbody as P90X, Hip Hop Abs, and Insanity, which I already owned all three before I ever went into that meeting. Yes. So that's what I knew it as. When I got the call to even come in, I was like, yes, Beachbody, that's where I want to be, because I knew it as the infomercial business. Same thing came in, obviously we went in developing everything. We were announcing at leadership. I didn't know what that meant. There was just a bunch of people there being like, oh, this new person. I'm like, I don't know who these people are or how they affect me exactly. Sorry. but it was great. As we went through it, same thing for me, I almost relate more to the coaches because I'm a trainer, I'm a personal trainer, that's what I've done. So getting to be on Facebook and Instagram and watching people have their success, that is at home for me. Like when you tell me stuff about the infomercial and how well it's doing, I'm like, that's great, but it's kind of this abstract, I don't really, what if you give me numbers? And I'm like, okay. But I'm like, that sounds good, I think. But when I put something up like, hey, I'm gonna do the Memorial Day Fix Challenge, and we now have like 7,300 people in it, that I relate to. So, yay! I'm very excited to start it with all you guys. But it's all I know. The coaches are what I know. It took me a little while to understand it too, and to understand exactly what you guys do, and I'm still learning it, and I'm still asking questions like, well, why does this work this way with on-demand launching? It was like, well, okay, what does that mean to everybody? And what does that mean to me, and what I do to inspire them? But for me, coming in when I did, it's more about the coaches than it is the infomercial. It's like we film the infomercial and I kind of just, that goes off and does its thing, and all my attention is right here on them because they're the ones who I get to see every day having success and answering their questions and helping them. That's where it's at for me.
That's awesome. So, and it's interesting, you know, I wouldn't be surprised you'd all have the same, if you each come in the same door at the same time, you'd probably have the same perspective, right? You'd be like, oh, that's that big thing, we send you off the trips, and people are like, oh, this is the new celebrity trainer, and then you'd be like, what's that infomercial thing out there, but you just came in at different times. So, now, as part of that, something that has grown that, you know, I referenced at your engagement party about how, you know, the first time that I would do workout videos with people with a different company, we never paid royalties or anything. It was like a day rate, give us the video, and then it's done. And we knew that if something really would go, like you're not going to be able to walk through an airport, like, so it's not fair. The last thing you want to be is famous and broke. And so we thought it would be fair that if the business and the brand that you're behind prospers, you need to go along with that. Of course, it's your concept, it's your baby, basically. But what has changed about your life now, just about the walking around? Because, like, again, I'm opposed now. I know you've all had performing backgrounds, right? I mean, you wanted to be a world famous mime. You just can't help yourself, can you? Once you
set me up, dude. Pretty much. I'll walk in the wind if you'd like. It doesn't pay much anymore.
It's awesome. I love that bit. 60th birthday, I want the wind mime walk thing. All right.
I can still walk by 60. We only hope.
Remember, what is it? Handgun or
handstands or handgun?
Anyway,
long story. I'll tell you one day.
So what's it been like now for, so you wanted to be an actor, you wanted to be a dancer, you were a dancer, but we're a personal trainer, and now, like, you can't walk around here, you can't walk through a grocery store without, I'm sure, somebody saying, either they know right away, or they're like, are you Will Smith? No.
I get that. Quick story. So,
dude, when I see a Will Smith movie, I think it's Sean T.
Wait, maybe one day. So check this out. So I was in a grocery store and I was checking out, and a woman was like, I know who you are. And I was like, all right. And she was like, don't worry, I won't tell nobody. And I'm just like, okay. And so she was like, Will Smith, right? I was like, no. She was like, yes you are. You just don't want people to know. No, not Will Smith, no, not me. Yes you are. I finished checking out, grabbed my receipt in my bag. She was like, don't worry, I won't tell anybody. I'm like, all right. And I just keep walking out.
She told all her friends, man, I saw Will Smith today at the grocery store.
So everyone probably thinks Will Smith lives in Mesa, Arizona.
Will Smith likes kale.
So now, what's it been like? I mean, what is life like? How do you keep your perspective? How do you manage it, being in this position of, people thanking you constantly? You transform my life, you transform my health, emotional stories, and how do you still engage with people and be a real person and all that?
Well, a lot of you know my story anyway. I came out here to California broke, and I was living on somebody's floor, and I was doing pantomime at the pier to make $1.25 so I could live on Cheerios and yogurt for 3 days, and I was a carpenter and a handyman. I was a go-go dancer. Sorry, it's a short stint. I'm no Sean T. I can pop. I think I hurt myself. Damn. And, I was a personal trainer. I used to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and drive all over town. I was in Malibu and Venice and Sherman Oaks, and, I was training celebrities. I mean, Tom Petty, Billy Idol, Stephen Stills, Annie Lennox. Google them. Anyway, they're old rockers. Justice Bieber? It's not Justice. Stop saying that. But, that was my life. And I lived in a 3-bedroom apartment, broken down car. I had a beautiful view of a convalescent home, which I just thought eventually I'd walk across the alley and move into. And then, a mutual friend of ours introduced us, and we were buds, and I was training you, and then I went off and I worked on a movie called 13th Warrior with Antonio Banderas for 3 months, and I came back and you were ripped, and I went, holy crap, dude, what'd you do? And you said, I did that stuff you told me to do. And I went, oh, shit, that works. It's cool. I thought it was all crap. And then, you were working for another company. Carl was a cog in a machine working for somebody else, but he was always an innovator, and he said, you and I should do something. And we went off to the side, and I don't even know if we were Beachbody yet. We were sort of Beachbody wannabe at that point. Did Great Body Guarantee, and you had some investors who went, whoa, this is a thing. You put a lot of infomercials on the air, and 99% of them die, and yours didn't, and people noticed. And then we had the courage to do, Power 90, which was, working out 6 days a week and eating right, and everybody in the industry said, No, man, you need like an ad machine. You do this for 45 seconds. And then when that doesn't work, we'll make up something else and sell that. But you didn't want to do that. You want to do the real deal. And so, here's what's crazy. I lived in the same apartment for 21 years. The same freaking carpet. I think I shampooed that thing 50 times. Still didn't look good. And then, we set up a deal where I wasn't getting a day rate, I was getting royalties. So you know what it's like to go down to your mailbox, oh, royalty check, and open that thing up, and then the cartoon eyes, that's a shitload of money right there. And then people said, Tony, move away from there. Beverly Hills is the place you ought to be. So I loaded up the truck, and I just moved to a nicer part of Santa Monica. Beverly Hills seemed too uppity for me. And it's just been an amazing ride. Everybody in this room has had an upgrade in their life, physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, and that's certainly me times 1,000. I have a beautiful home in Santa Monica. I have a beautiful home in Jackson Hole. I have a beautiful town home in Rhode Island. And I can do whatever I want, go anywhere I want. And the only thing for me that I'm learning at this stage of the game is to stay humble and to stay authentic. And when I run into people, you guys know, right? You support me or not, forget that and not forget the roots. For me, I was very fortunate because my fame and fortune came in my 40s. So I always think it's always going to go away. I don't think, and a lot of people in our industry, you guys know, Susan Powter, gone. Mari Windsor, gone. Gunnar Peterson, gone. Billy Blanks, gone. Even people that were with Beachbody initially, gone. Because they didn't stay humble, they didn't keep working their ass off, they didn't keep pushing the envelope, they didn't keep reinventing themselves. That's what the three of us do. Sean has literally gone from hip-hop ads to superstar, can do anything, anytime, no matter what they give him to do, he can freaking do it. And that's why he continues to be so successful. Thank you. And Autumn's here because Carl's a big believer and her amazing qualities, you know what I mean? My hope and my dream is that 10 years from now, I'll be in my 60s and hopefully I'll be a little grayer. Emily dies this part. I'll die the whole damn thing in my 60s, but you know what I mean? That's it. It's about integrity, it's about authenticity, it's about staying humble, it's about staying connected to you guys, and that way we're going to be here 10 years from now and still kicking ass, so thank you. All
right, how about you? Yeah, so for me, I think I love that you asked that question in front of everyone here because you won't believe this, and most of you won't believe it, but I'm really shy. So when I walk around in a grocery store or even here, people are like, hey Shanti, what's up? Like I immediately start sweating, like everything, because I don't like attention unless I'm on stage and I have something relevant to say. That's the only time I like being the center of attention because I know I have something to say. Other than that, when people are like, do you want pictures? Like, even last night, I'm like, oh my God, I'm hot. Like, I can't. But I do love you guys, but it's very uncomfortable for me. If you listen to my podcast, you might know this, but when I was younger and I used to go to parties and stuff with my mom, I would literally be like this. We'd walk into a party and I would be like this. And she would say, go play with the other kids, and I'm like, no, like, I'm not doing that.
And you were 18?
No, I was 21. And so, anyway, so that's kind of like how I feel, like, just about the fame in general. But for me, the thing that I do love about it is when I'm walking through New York, or I'm in a cab at a stop sign in New York, people are like, yo, Shanti, what's up? And everyone that comes up and says what's up, they have a huge smile on their face. They're extremely happy. They tell me they hate me and they love me at the same time. And I believe we all get that. Balance is everything. And so, it's joyful. Like, I think it's amazing because then I know that I'm actually doing something to help people. I'm pushing them because the one other thing is, I feel like if you stay comfortable, you can't progress in life. So I love that I hate you, but I love you, because that means they are working hard enough and they're getting a result. Financially, it's amazing. Believe it or not, like I showed up to my first hip hop ab shoot, and Lara had to rent me a car because the mirror on my car had broken off and I didn't have enough money to get it fixed, and I was just like, whatever, I was gonna take a cab in LA, which is like expensive. And Lara was like, I'll rent you a car, don't worry about it. And I didn't grow up with money. So I always knew how to push myself to make myself better, and I knew I would be successful just from working hard. And I think the money, to be honest, is secondary to me. I love it. Like, I love that, my family is great and everything, but for me, it's about just constantly seeing people smile, they're happy, they're excited. I mean, I just taught a class, the room was packed, and I'm literally killing people and they're smiling. So it's like, obviously I'm making them happy too. And that's what I connect to. I was a group exercise instructor. That's, and a personal trainer, but I love group exercise better because you just get a room full of people and the positive energy just kind of multiplies as the minutes go on. And I believe that's what you're doing with Team Beachbody. Everyone that comes in and that clicks the button and says that I want to join this, they click the button because something changed their life, or they see, a positive future ahead. And I think that's constantly what I connect to. That's the only thing that I truly, truly care about, is that the smiles keep continuing to grow and grow and grow.
So Autumn, what, you guys have such different stories, but yours really interests me because, like traveling around Super Saturdays and stuff, so I got a chance to get to know you. But like the background from an entrepreneurial standpoint, like you made a go of it with your containers, like single mom in a little apartment, and you're like, I want to you have a couple of celebrity clients, and you're like developing this portion control system, working your angles to try to get on TV, and however that manifested into what this is, like, it happened. Like, whatever it was, it's not exactly what you thought it was going to be. It was going to be this thing in a box and maybe sell it in the stores or whatever. Like, it happened, dude. Like, it could have been a total disaster, and you went for it and made things happen. Like, it's very similar to a coach success story, because they go for it, people doubt them, and they're like, well, that's stupid, especially families, skeptical or something like, what, you have no business creating a container thing, and then all of a sudden, like, it's happening. What's it like to be you?
That whole it happened thing is still very surreal for me. I still wake up every morning and I'm like, is this real life? And I do still live in that little apartment for 10 more days. I close on my house when we get back. So, that's a huge one for me. That's a very big deal, because I was a trainer. That's what I did, 14 hours a day. Same thing. I'd be up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and I would drop my son off to his dad and go see 5 clients, and then go to Equinox and train more clients, and then pick him up from preschool and bring him back to Equinox with me to put him in the daycare there, and then train more clients and get home at 8 o'clock at night and get him fed and washed and in bed and collapse in my bed and get up and do it all over again and wonder, is it gonna happen? And there would be a lot of nights crying to my best friend on the phone and being like, I don't understand what else I can do, and why hasn't it happened yet? And there were so many doors slammed in my face so many times. So to actually have it happen and see the amazing, amazing success that people have with it, I'm still blown away. Like, somebody came up to me last night and was like, one of my clients has lost 98 pounds on 21-day fix, and I'm just like, what? How, like, when you guys said to me, we need him to lose 15 pounds in 21 days, I went home and I was like, well, this is dead, and it's the dead in the water, because like that doesn't happen. Because nobody would ever follow it like I would tell them to. Thank you for following it like I tell you to. But, because when you hear it, there's so much success to it. So when people, now my stuff hasn't been out as long as your guys', so it's not often that I do get recognized out in public. The one thing I have learned is to stop yelling at my kid at Disneyland. Because, it's Disneyland.
That Autumn girl is yelling at her kid.
Like, God, shut up, you can't have another cotton candy. And then I post a photo at Disneyland, and like all the coaches are like, I thought that was you, and I was like, was I screaming at him? So that's the one thing I don't do anymore. No, but seriously, when you guys come up to me and you say to me like, oh, you're probably tired of hearing this, I'm never tired of hearing about your success. Not tired of hearing about your success as a coach and how it's changed your business, because so many people have come up to me and been like, 21-day fix is all I sell now, or 21-day fix is what allowed me to quit my job. That's amazing. Like, it allowed me to quit my job too. And then I see the success stories and the photos and changing people's lives, and not just the weight loss, but people really coming up, my fibromyalgia is better, you know, my irritable bowel syndrome has gone away, I'm off of antidepressants.
Thank God.
Thank God. But that's a real thing, and that's a horribly uncomfortable thing to live with from what I understand. So when people are coming up and coming off of medications and things like that, that part is amazing. And then there is the other side of it where I get to help take care of my family, which is something that's happening right now, and that's awesome because I can do it. Or to walk my son into the house that we just bought and say like, hey, here's your room. And he's like, this is mine? And you're like, yeah, you actually have some room to play now. Although there's sacrifices, he lost his first tooth last night and I missed it. But it's okay, I got video. But, so there's still sacrifices that come with the job, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. There's always going to be the yin and the yang and the give and the take, but to be able to show him later on that this is something I got to help with is pretty awesome.
So and let's stay and let's sort of wrap it up with one final sort of thought and your perspective on really what the coaches do with your programs, right? So there were DVDs, there were even, you know, certainly Weight Watchers, there's ways to help people manage their portions. Like, we packaged it differently, we made it fun, and we have a very compelling way to distribute this stuff using infomercials and now network marketing and Beachbody Live. But with what each of you has said is that there's something really compelling happening in terms of customer success. So if you can, and I don't really have a great question, so we'll see what you do with it, but what's it like to create something and then put it in the hands of these people and see what happens with it? Like, does it transcend what your expectations were? Is it like, you know, anyway, I don't want to ask too much of the question because I can answer it. What's it like for you as a personal trainer, frankly, who really you would just see people lose a little weight, make a bunch of excuses, put the weight back on. Lose a little weight, make a bunch of excuses, put the weight back on. Like, what's it like now to see this happen in such a significant way?
Again, it's everything to put it in the hands of the coaches. You and I were talking about this the other day. When you, as a trainer, there's still only so many people that you can help in a day. I can work 14 hours a day, but then I've helped 14 people, and that's the max I can do. I just have to sleep at some point. So to be able to create something and then give it to all of you guys and say, now go help that many more people, and then to watch them do it and to watch them be passionate about it and excited about it and to see the success that everybody has with it, that's awesome. That's why we get up every day. It's why we take time away from our families and come here and do these things, because it allows us, it allows me to do what I always wanted to do, which was to help people on a much bigger scale than just the 5, 10, 15 people in a day that I could train. So I love that I can give it to the coaches and then I can watch what they do with it and I can be involved and I can answer all of their questions and I can, you know, one person can ask a question, but maybe it's a question that 5,000 of them have and I can post one answer and get it out to everybody, and it's fun.
For me, this is amazing. Like, this is amazing to me for many reasons, but one of the most profound moments in my trainer experience actually was when, just a few weeks ago, or maybe over a month ago, when Amy Silverman's husband came to my house and we did a live chat. And you know, we were talking and he was there, and it was Coach Tulin, who, I don't know if she's here, but she was talking about her plus size ladies that she like motivates to do this. And then, so I started to follow her because I mean, I saw her passion in the way that she promotes the programs, not just mine, but all of ours. And you know, then I watched the videos of people who aren't the skinniest person in the room doing this. And to me, that is the most amazing thing, to see people from all different walks of life, shapes and sizes, doing this and feeling successful. Because when I started this journey, someone told me that my infomercial will never work. They were like, these things, my agent who was handling my contract at the time was like, these things never work. And so I always said to myself, if I can get one person to change their life, if I can help one person, then my job is done. Well, now it's, you know, 10 million, right? And so I just always connect to, like, each person has an individual story. And so while I look at it as a great number of people, I still always look at people as an individual. And even at the end of my class, like, this journey starts with you. And last I'll say, and I don't know if I'm making a lot of sense, but when I go into any class, or before I do any video, I connect to the thing that I had the most struggle with in my life. And for me, it was molestation. It was like, being sexually abused. And I'm like, if I can connect to this thing and I can show my vulnerability, then I can help people at any level they are, whether they have to lose 5 pounds or 105 pounds. I know the struggle, I can connect to a struggle, and I know that you can succeed at that. And I love when people walk into a room and they're at different levels of their fitness journey, because it shows that it's not just about the fittest person, but it's about the fittest you at that moment, and that you are willing to go above and beyond and push your body to a level that you never thought possible. And I say this all the time, but I just love that when people buy any of our programs, their first mindset is that I want to propel myself to a next level of fitness at the end of this 90 days, 60 days, or 21 days. And it makes me feel so good to see people at all different places in the journey when I see them at that moment. So thank you. You all are so wonderful.
Tony, take us out.
Well, El Jefe, I just personally want to thank you, man. No, seriously, we talk about a lot of different things, but we were buds before any of this started. Just a couple of guys who used to laugh our asses off, go on ski trips, pretend we were German for 3 days. The ski trip. What was your name? Dieter.
You were Gunther, I was Dieter.
That's right. For 3 days, we would talk like this, and we had so many friends. We faked the German thing. But there's a couple things, and I'll be succinct as I can be. You're a visionary man. What you've been able to create from the get-go, you've taken a lot of risks. Not everything worked out brilliantly well, but most of it did, and that's what matters most. I honestly believe that right now, Beachbody is in a golden age. We are in the Renaissance period. We make so many phenomenal products. Everything that Autumn and Sean T do, to what I do, to Shakeology. I've been on the performance formulas for about 4 weeks, the brand new stuff that you guys talked about yesterday. This stuff is off the chain. I've worked out 24 out of the last 27 days and I feel like I'm 19 years old. It's kooky. I think it's filled with crack cocaine. I don't care. I don't know what's in it. I don't care if I huff it at night. It's crazy. But story after story after story of people who have changed their lives from Shakeology, from our programs, and what you've been able to create, man. I really do believe that we're going to have, going forward, it's going to get bigger and better. I was talking to the girls in the back, the top 10 coaches, and a lot of them have been in this business for 2 years. Less than 2 years, and they're crazy successful. So I would say to all of you, don't be afraid to share. Don't be afraid to create situations where you can grow and get better and improve your business, because these gals in the back that are going to come out here and chat next have done it, and a lot of you are there and on your way and can get bigger and better, and you've done an amazing thing, dude. I just want to give a big round of applause to Mr. Carl Dykman.